Greetings, one and all, and welcome to the Bellicose Nation. Now, I want to take a minute and touch on a horrific news story that's breaking right now. The location is South London in the UK. Two men with foreign accents, apparently North African Muslims, hacked to death in the street a British citizen thought to be in the military. Now, I will show you a bit of that recorded clip, just of them talking, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about this.
In a South London street, a man with bloodied hands, carrying a knife and machete, approaches a camera and tries to justify what has just happened.
I apologise that women had to witness this today, but in our land, our women have to see the same. You people will never be safe. Remove your governments, they don't care about you.
He then walks back up the road, back towards the victim of this attack who lies prone in the street. A young man, believed to be a soldier. The man with blood on his hands then talks to a second man.
Now, we have grown accustomed to seeing this type of barbarism in the far corners of the world. But I'm telling you, man, it seems like now it has just come to our shores. And here we have a guy who clearly seems to know what he's doing. He's not crazy. And he's standing on the streets of London hacking a citizen to death with a meat cleaver. And you look at that tidy crowd behind him. Check out the crowd behind him. They seem to be marveling at the horror, but hardly a soul is even ready to step off of the curb. What has happened to the British people? And you just know these two guys are in the country legally as a result of their retarded immigration policy. London, a city where now traditional Britons are a minority, is full of mosques and Islam. And I can tell you, man, it is clearly on the move there. As a matter of fact, reports show second-generation Muslims, meaning the children of Muslim immigrants, are less likely to support Britain. They're more likely to hold extremist views. These are the ones that are starting Muslim schools, and they're the ones that are wearing the traditional Muslim clothing and pushing for Sharia law and all this. It's not really the ones that came over in the 60s. Listen to the guy talk. He even has a British accent. And listen to what he says.
I apologise that women had to witness this today, but in our land, our women have to see the same. You people will never be safe. Remove your governments, they don't care about you.
He refers to Muslim countries as our land, because that is where his allegiance is. So, there he stands with blood dripping from his hands as he clutches the meat cleaver, which he tried to use to behead that soldier on the street, and he speaks to the camera with not a care in the world that someone in the crowd might retaliate. And you know why? Because he doesn't hear the police coming, and he knows that there's not a person in that crowd that's allowed to even carry a knife, let alone a gun. Well, eventually the cops did get there, and after a confrontation, both of these guys were shot. But if they had so much as jumped on a moped, they could have escaped with that docile crowd. Okay. It's time for the bellicose prediction. Now, this is always a fun part of the video here. So here we go. Now that millions have been imported into nearly every European country, and the dark side of multiculturalism, of that enrichment is being tasted, I'm going to tell you, these countries will begin to limit and in some cases cut off immigrants, at least to these parts of the world. But look, folks, the reality is millions of these people are already here, and with their high birth rates, they will continue to gain in numbers and power. It's just a fact, man. And from this surging group, a small percentage will be actively at war with their host country. So whether it be the Boston Marathon bombing or the Fort Hood shooter, or there's so many others, and even now we've got the hacking to death of the British citizen on the streets of London. These all have one thing in common, and what is it? All these people waging war on us are people that we brought here, people that we invited here, people that oftentimes we materially support, under the notion what? That all people in the world will be compatible with us, and that their idea of civilization will match our idea of civilization. This is the Bellicose Nation.